Namaste and good morning.
Namaste, good morning.
We will start with the session. Just we will chant one prayer and Om. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Inhale and chant Om one time. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much. Yesterday we have seen already the digestive system. In short about it. Today as well we will see the respiratory system in short only. So today's topic I will write for yoga anatomy and physiology. Respiratory system. What is respiratory system?
It's our breathing.
That's our breathing. Yeah, right. So what we breathe?
Oxygen?
Yes, we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. So the gas in the carbon dioxide form we breathe out, that which we do not need. So what we need? The oxygen that is helpful for our cells in our body to survive. And this oxygen is prana. In the form of prana, it also regulates in our channels, in our chakras, and in each and every part in subtle body. That we will see later when we will study and talk about the chakras and prana in the next classes. Here in the physical state of the body, speaking about the oxygen in each and every blood cell. If there is a lack of oxygen in our red blood cells, what we do? Feel the patient or the person may feel like having a disease or disorder like anemia. So having a lack of oxygen in our blood cells is what? A condition, anemia. Similarly, what we need here, according to digestive system, nutrients from the food to survive the cells, and here in the respiratory system, oxygen for the surviving of our cells. And if the cells will survive, our body will survive. Here to talk about the food pipe and the windpipe. Okay. Do you remember that we have studied about the food pipe in the digestive system?
Yes, it's epiglottis that is separated.
Yes, exactly. So here in the windpipe, we will study in the respiratory system. Now, the question is, if you know where is the food pipe and windpipe, like, can you tell me about it, the location?
The food pipe and the windpipe in our pharynx?
No. My question was, so we have the food pipe and we have the windpipe. Both are inside our body. Which
no, esophagus.
Okay, so esophagus is our food pipe. Esophagus is nothing but our food pipe. Anyway, we will see it later. What I will ask you, I will ask the question later. So the question here was, how are they connected? So we have one food pipe, we have one windpipe. So are they connected like this at side to side, or are they connected like this and
no,
back
one
and in
is
front?
One is in front, one is at the back.
Yes. So they are connected back and in front, separated by the epiglottis in the top. Now, which one is in the front and which one is in the back?
I think the wind one is in the front and the food one is at the back.
Yes. So we have everyone who are been watching the recording later. Always remember the windpipe is what? In the front, located here. Even we find the number of rings of the trachea. So windpipe is known as trachea, as well as the food pipe is known as esophagus. So esophagus is right behind our trachea. Always remember, we will start with the system. The process of inhalation and the process of exhalation is known as the process of respiration. So along with it, we have the rate of respiration. What is that rate of respiration? That we will speak first about it. To speak about the rate of respiration, that means how many breaths do we take per minute? So the rate of respiration is what? In the supine position, that means when we lie down in our resting position, our rate of respiration is being counted. That rate of respiration depends upon how many number of breaths do we take per minute. And that is counted in the supine position. So it depends and it does varies according to our age. According to our age. So for the children and the kids, the rate of respiration is how much? More than 35 to 40 breaths per minute. The children, the babies, even the infants have more than 30 to 35 number of breaths they do take per minute. But in the adult, the rate of respiration starts to decrease in the adults, like along that side, like puberty or at the age of the 18 or 20, above 20, the rate of respiration starts to decrease, and this rate of respiration will reduce to like 16, 18, 20 breaths per minute max. So the rate of respiration from between 20 to up above 20 years. So like 40, 45 years, we have approximately between 16 to 20 number of breaths only we do take. Now, about 40, 50 years, when the age increase again, the rate of respiration will start to decrease. Now, the rate of respiration above 50, 55 and plus 45 to 55 plus, it will go down to 12 respiration, 15 respiration max, minimum 10 respirations per minute. Likewise, as this age will goes on increasing, our rate of respiration finally will go on decreasing. So there is much importance here to always make sure we practice pranayam to balance our rate of respiration. So on an average, according to Ayurveda, the lifespan, Ayu means age, Veda means knowledge. So the knowledge of our age is Ayurveda. The Dr. Sushruta, who told us about Ayurveda and Charaka. According to these studies suggested, the average lifespan of a human in this era is 100 years, average lifespan, according to Ayurveda. But nowadays, if we can see outside and we know the reality, how the air is polluted and how the practice of yoga is happening in this modern world by these modern yogis. Just Facebook yoga and Instagram yoga nowadays, but not real life, just for the pictures. So the regular practice and the consistently practice of the asana pranayam is not must. So the lifespan nowadays achieves it 70 on an average 70 or 80. Maybe we don't even know how is the condition of the future generation. They are started wearing masks from this little age. So we don't even know the lifespan may increase more or decrease more further for the future generation. It may go down to 50 or 60 in future for sure. So to speak about this respiratory system, this is what rate of respiration. For an example, do you have some pets or do you know about the dogs or any kind of pet.
Yeah, dogs
And
breathe fast, therefore
they
their
do
life
breathe fast.
short.
And so the lifespan is what?
Short.
Short. And if I will tell you about a turtle or a tortoise, can you tell me the lifespan of a tortoise on an average?
Oh God, I know that it's very long, over 100 for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So 150, average lifespan 150 for sure. Maybe 200, 250, 300. It can go all the way up to. So this is what? The slow process. The more slow, the more benefits. Even in the practice of yoga, to get more benefits to the physical body, to the subtle body, and to the astral body. We have these three connecting bodies where we have to get more benefits. We need to go slow, working on all these physical, subtle, and astral bodies. Similarly, the slow process, more benefits here. The more fast, power type of yoga, less benefits, but more benefits only on the physical body. The more patient, the more internal benefit. The more fast external benefit. So we need to balance in yoga. This is not yoga actually. What we do, Ashtanga Vinyasa. This is just the styles of yoga. The Lord Shiva who invented yoga is not doing this Ashtanga or Vinyasa or never did this. This is done by the human. Pattabhi Jois, Iyengar, Bikram. All these are the humans. It is for the external physical body to get ready or to prepare our body for
Meditation.
Yes, because nowadays our body is not like the ancient yogis. So we have created our different styles to prepare our body for meditation. The ancient yogis, the fresh prana, they could meditate easily for months and months. Here today we cannot even sit for 30 minutes by keeping our eyes closed. The people I mean. Meditation is a long process. The respiratory system, now we have the parts of the respiratory system. So speaking about the parts of the respiratory system, in a diagrammatic representation, again I will show. Here, you see the human, our beautiful human, every day we draw him. Is it visible?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Now, here, from the nasal cavity, we are drawing the windpipe. But we do also have from the oral cavity. So this is our oral cavity. And this is our nasal cavity. This is again our pharynx region. So we will see the parts. Here, the nose, the mouth, this region, our pharynx, that is the throat region. Then this region, epiglottis. Then we have the number of rings of the trachea. This trachea means windpipe. Like esophagus means food pipe, trachea means windpipe. And here are the branches of trachea. So here are the branches of trachea. How many branches of trachea will you see here? Yes. There are two branches of trachea in our left side of the lung. And there are 3 branches of trachea in our right side of our trunk. Here, the heart is located in the center, but slightly tilted to our left side. Slightly the heart is tilted to our left side. Our left lung, always remember, every one of you, our left lung is a bit smaller than our right lung because the heart is a little bit shifted or tilted from the center to the left side. So we have 2 branches of trachea in our left lung, where we have the 3 branches of trachea in our right lung. So this is what the branches of trachea. Where are these branches of trachea? Inside our lungs. Okay. Here, a quick diagrammatic representation for the people. We have the nose, the primary source to breathe. We have the mouth, the secondary source to breathe. Not like the digestive system where we can only eat with the mouth. Here we can also breathe with the mouth. Now, the nose, the mouth with the throat region, pharynx, then the windpipe, which is located in the front, and the food pipe is located at the back of the windpipe. So this is this windpipe in the front, separated by this epiglottis. So this epiglottis will send the food to the food pipe and air inside these branches of trachea inside our lungs. Am I visible?
Yeah, you went for a second, but now back again.
Yeah, because the electricity goes on and off here. It's raining outside here in India at my place, so the electricity is. And here, first we'll begin with the nostrils, this primary source of the breathing. So always remember the people, in each and every posture of yoga we do practice. In each and every posture, what we need to do, we need to breathe from the nostrils only in every yoga posture. But there are few postures only where we can allow ourselves to breathe with the mouth. I repeat, only few postures where we can allow ourselves to breathe with our mouth. That means I am not saying to keep your mouth open. Just keep your mouth slightly open, not to keep your mouth completely open while practicing yoga. So there are some postures when we tilt our head up that makes a human to breathe or uncomfortable for a human to breathe. So the human can breathe with the slightly open from the mouth in the postures when we tilt our head up. So in the neck movement, like up, also like in the fish posture, like Matsyasana, also like in the camel pose, Ushtrasana, also like in the Chakrasana, the wheel pose, we can slightly keep our mouth open. We will not go much deep in alignment and adjustment here. We are a yoga anatomy teacher for your course, but this is what some things you need to know when you will teach to your students, and for them if there is a difficulty in breathing while doing certain postures, so they could breathe with their mouth under the guidance of the teacher when their head is tilted up. Always remember. Got it? Now, inside our nose, what else we do have? We have the tiny hair and mucous membrane. So what is the purpose of this tiny hair?
To stop the bacteria and all the other not to come into our lungs.
So to stop the dust particles which are going to our nose. Yes. And in the mouth also the air can pass. So this bacteria, germs, dust particles, we have the tiny hair inside our nose that will make it stop. Filter. Nose is used as air inside the nose, used as a filter of air to filter the air. The air will pass through the nose and the mouth, where it will travel to the pharynx region. Now, I will erase this pharynx and will write down the types of pharynx right over here. So here in the pharynx region, this at the end of the nasal cavity, this region of the pharynx is known as nasopharynx region. Where if you will see below the nasopharynx, that means at the end of the oral cavity, this region is known as osopharynx region. In the digestive system, we have studied osopharynx and laryngopharynx. But only in the respiratory system, we have to know that there is a region at the end of the nasal cavity, that is nasopharynx region. Okay. So like if you will know about the Shatakriyas or the 6 cleansing techniques, we have one of the cleansing techniques, that is Sutraniti. We insert a thread from our nose and we do remove it out from our mouth. So where does it travel, the thread? It does travel from the nostril and it comes out from the mouth like this. So we clean our nasopharynx and osopharynx regions of our throat. Jalaneti and Sutraniti, if we practice every day, no need of any test of COVID. This is my guarantee. Jalaneti, Sutraniti, Kapalbhati, at least every day, morning, evening, or at least one time if people don't have time to practice 2 times. No need of any test, no need of how any virus can enter in our nasal cavity. This is all just business in this world. We have corona, the disease is there, but to kill the germs and the particles, we need to do it with the yoga, not with the medicines. Very high power doses can have many side effects and people can even die with the medicines of COVID. But this is natural. No one will die if they will practice and prevent any viral infection as well. Okay. Now, the Jalaneti and Sutraniti, after the air passes through the nose and the mouth, from these 3 regions of the throat, the pharynx, what else we do have? The epiglottis. So epiglottis we already have studied. There is a switch between our food pipe and windpipe. And this epiglottis will split into this windpipe. So you see here the windpipe, which is made up of the number of rings, that is known as trachea. Okay. So this windpipe made up of number of rings, trachea. Just tell me, before we study the trachea and the windpipe and its branches inside the lungs, if you have cleared this thing about the nose, mouth, and the pharynx, 3 regions.
Yeah.
So I have to erase this diagram and make only the diagrams of the windpipe and lungs. No need of this face and everything now. So we'll erase it. Now, after the air passes from the nose, from the mouth into the pharynx, into the throat, the epiglottis will send it to the windpipe. This windpipe, trachea, number, nose, mouth, pharynx, epiglottis, number 5. I will write trachea is our windpipe. Nose, mouth, pharynx, epiglottis, and trachea, number 5. This windpipe is made up of the number of rings. What are these rings made up of? These rings are made up of cartilage. These rings are made up of
Cartilage.
Cartilage. How many number of rings are being present here? There are 16 to 20 approximately rings present in our windpipe. This windpipe trachea is approximately 5-inch long. Okay, here write 16 to 20 number of rings of cartilage, hyaline cartilage in our windpipe. The type of cartilage, hyaline cartilage, made up of 16 to 20 rings. But if you will see over here, the first two rings of this trachea, the first two rings of the windpipe, can you see the color of these first two rings is blue, which I made it with the blue marker. Why? Because the first two rings of the trachea, if we will see inside this trachea, now this is outer side of your trachea. This is outer side of your trachea, the cover. From outside, the trachea will look like this. But if you will see inside this trachea, then we will get the trachea. It will be like this. Inside, there is no rings from inside. The rings are from outside. But here in these first two rings of the trachea, from inside, there is what? The voice box. So there is our voice box from inside. This voice box is known as larynx. Okay, our voice box, whenever we are speaking, we can increase the pitch of the sound, intensity of the sound. Due to this voice box present, due to this voice box, I can speak louder, I can speak in a low voice as well. So this is what, with the help of, we can speak with the help of voice box, where it is in the first two rings of the trachea from inside. Okay, up till here. Yep, or no?
Okay, okay.
Yep. Now the next, from the outside, if we will study, or if we know about the endocrine system, we already studied, and we studied about the thyroid cartilage. If you remember about the thyroid cartilage in the endocrine system, the people. So from inside of the windpipe, in the first two rings, we find the voice box, larynx, and from outside, in the same first two rings, we have a thyroid gland that we have also seen in our endocrine system. So we have the thyroid gland and parathyroid gland at four corners of our first two rings of the trachea. So inside we have the voice box, outside we have the thyroid cartilage or thyroid gland outside. Okay. Now, here, to speak again about the inside view of the trachea. What else we do have inside of the trachea? We have small, tiny hair on the surface of the trachea from inside, not from outside. We have the wings. These tiny hairs are known as cilia. These tiny hairs inside the trachea are known as cilia. What is the role of this cilia? The role of this cilia is also involuntary. Involuntary, they are doing their actions involuntarily. Like our epiglottis, involuntary. Without telling epiglottis, it will do its job and send the food into the food pipe. Similarly, cilia also are in involuntary actions. These tiny hairs are cleaning up our windpipe 24 hours continuously. They are moving in upward direction, this tiny hair. So this tiny hair, we have been pointed in upward direction. So these tiny hairs which remove the dust particles, contaminants, germs, bacteria, pathogens, all which may travel even if we have air inside the nose, but still, if some dust particle enter, then the cilia will work to remove it out, doing its own duty, carrying its own dharma. That is the role of the cilia. Where if we harm this cilia, how can we harm this cilia? By those people who live in the city or who work in the industrial with the chemicals, lots of chemicals, or who do lot of smoking. So these people may burn this cilia. That means the hair inside the windpipe. And if these hair are once burned, then they do not grow back naturally like before. They may grow, but not completely and naturally, which was being gifted to us like before. So the contaminants and all the dust can enter in our windpipe because there is no cilia to remove it out, and this will enter in our lungs. Then we have asthma, bronchitis, all these disorders may get inside our lungs, pneumonia, the rest of the things as well. All the viruses can enter because of lack of cilia. Cleared up till here?
Yep.
So every day pranayama must. Now we will proceed and say the next, that is branches of trachea. I am just going more quickly as we have the less time for today. So we'll go more quick. If it is clear, we'll proceed now.
Yeah. Oh, good.
From this windpipe and trachea, now we have the branches of trachea, that is this windpipe will emerge and split into two branches. So this one enters in our left lung and one enters in our right lung first. Now, these left and right branches, one and one, are known as primary bronchi. So these are bronchi, the branches of trachea. These are known as primary bronchi. One in the left, one in the right. Now, these primary bronchi from this windpipe trachea will split further. That is 2 in the left and we have 3 in the right. These are known as secondary bronchi. Again, I repeat, the windpipe splits one into left lung, one into right lung. That are known as primary bronchi. So where are these primary bronchi? Up till here, this region are the primary bronchi. Now the primary bronchi will further split 2 into the left lung and 3 into the right lung, which are known as secondary bronchi. Okay, which are known as secondary bronchi. Is it visible?
It is.
Yep. Okay. Now these secondary bronchi, 2 in the left, 3 in the right, will further split into tertiary bronchi. So primary, secondary, and tertiary. So tiny small tertiary bronchi connected to this. These are known as tertiary bronchi. The air passes through the windpipe to the primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, and the tertiary bronchi. Now, after the bronchi, what else we do have? The air will pass through the bronchioles. So where are these bronchioles? Bronchioles are what? When the tertiary bronchi splits further, then they are known as bronchioles. So if this is our lung, inside our lungs, then we have the bronchioles. That means from this tertiary bronchi, there are tiny bronchioles. More than 20 million of bronchioles all over the lungs. Now I am not drawing it all over the lungs, but we do have these tiny bronchioles all over the lungs spreaded. To these bronchioles, there are connected air sacs. So this all over the lungs, we have bronchioles. Let me see this word over here, bronchioles. Okay. We have more than 20 millions of bronchioles inside our lungs. Then to these bronchioles and terminal bronchioles, that means a part of the bronchioles, there are more bronchioles emerging from the bronchioles spread all over the lungs. The air will pass, and at the end of the bronchioles, we have these tiny air sacs. These tiny air sacs like a grape. These tiny air sacs are known as alveoli. These are known as alveoli. So there are more than 30 to 40 million of alveoli inside our lungs, which contains our or carries our oxygen first. So oxygen or air will reach these alveoli first, then it will give to the parts of the body with the help of the capillaries. How that we will see now. Do you see the alveoli?
Yeah.
These alveoli is very important to know. The function of this alveoli is what? To change the state of gases. So this approximately we can say when we breathe the air form of oxygen, it will reach the lungs inside in these air sacs, that is alveoli. And this air form of oxygen in the gaseous form of oxygen will get converted into liquid form in these alveoli. And this liquid form of oxygen is being carried by our capillaries and given to each and every cell in our body in the liquid form. At the same time, the liquid form of carbon dioxide from the body is taken back through the capillaries and given into this alveoli. And alveoli converts this liquid form of carbon dioxide into gaseous form of carbon dioxide. So we exhale out the air form of carbon dioxide, that is gaseous form of carbon dioxide when we breathe out. So this whole process is happening every breath. The whole process happens like a magic in our body in every breath we take. Hope it is clear about the alveoli and the exchange of the gases.
So when it exchange and diffuse the gas, then it becomes liquid and it's passed to the blood and other organs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the carbon dioxide is taken from the organs and the other body back in the liquid form And again, it is being converted into air form. So we breathe carbon dioxide out. So it is two-way process, not like one-way process, only digestive system. So here we have inhale and exhale. Same time, alveoli are working every breath, converting our gases into liquid form and liquid form into gaseous form. Okay, clear in short?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anything need to ask anything more about the respiratory system?
No.
Nope, no questions?
No.
Great. We have completed here in short about the respiratory system. We have seen about the different parts. We have studied the definition or what is the rate of respiration, how should it go. The process in short we have completed. If you have any questions, you can ask the management, the people who can watch the recording. The management will give me the questions. We'll answer them back and they will provide you the answers as well. So hope you understand this concept where we have completed the respiratory system for today. Okay. So
I have a question, but not from anatomy. If I don't know if I can ask you. You know, if you, for example, teach up till Ashtanga, right? Ashtanga series up to Utkatasana, but you do not follow after Utkatasana into Warrior, right? Just that small section. Can I still do Utkatasana with the Vinyasa or just do Utkatasana as a single asana?
Can you repeat the question? Because first of all, I am the yoga anatomy teacher. So I would better answer the questions asked regarding anatomy only, because each and every teacher will have different styles.
No, this is just an easy question, but I don't. If you teach Ashtanga series up till Utkatasana, you don't go to follow the following warrior. Can I just teach the last Utkatasana as a single asana, or can still do with Vinyasa?
Then it will become Ashtanga Vinyasa. It will. So whenever we modify any style of yoga, it becomes Vinyasa. According to me, or according to the people also, Ashtanga is a complete set of series where we need to follow only that particular series in a sequence given by Patabi Joy.
Yeah.
And if we modify that sequence, it becomes Vinyasa.
No, but it's not like teaching. It's just like a teaching assignment, you know, just a practicing for between the students. So this is not to teach the client.
So that is what I am saying. Whether if you teach or practice for yourself, if we modify any posture, it becomes a Vinyasa. So Ashtanga Vinyasa, you can do it. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So we'll end the class with one Om chant. Keeping our eyes closed, take a long breath and chant Om one time. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
See you.